Okay, guys, welcome to science. Um, Today we're going to talk about traits and genes. Okay, I posted a video in Google Classroom along with this lesson. So the video is about 4 minutes long. I'll give you a little background into kind of traits and genes. So traits. During sexual reproduction, an organism receives half its chromosomes from a female parent and the other half from a male parent. That's why you don't look exactly like your mother or father, but more of a combination of the two of them. So it says each generation of offspring inherits traits from their parents. But what determines which traits are seen and which are not? For example, let's say a male parent has blue eyes and a female parent has brown eyes. What factors determine what color eyes the offspring will have? So traits can either be dominant or recessive. If a trait is dominant, it means that it's seen in the offspring. And it's recessive, it means it's not seen. Many traits are made by a pair of genes. If a trait is dominant, it's shown like this, so it's 2 capital R's. If the trait is recessive, it's 2 lowercase r's. So the chart below shows some common and recessive traits. So you can see brown eyes are dominant. A widow's peak is dominant. 6 fingers is dominant, and freckles is dominant. Recessive would be blue eyes, no widow's peak, 5 fingers, and no freckles. So the blue eyes of a male parent is a recessive trait, and the brown eyes of a female parent is a dominant trait. So you have little r's recessive, dominant is capital. An offspring from these 2 parents will get 1 copy of the dominant gene from their female parent and 1 copy of the recessive gene from the male parent. In offsprings, it'll be R, lowercase r. In this case, the R stands for the brown eye, so the offspring will have the brown eyes. And that's based off the capital R. Okay, you can see, so they got the dominant R and the lowercase r. So that would be basically brown eyes. So what might happen if 2 people each having 1 dominant gene for brown eyes and 1 recessive blue eyes produce? The offspring would either be RR, capital R, capital R, capital R, lowercase r, or lowercase, lowercase, which means they'd have blue eyes. So only the RR combination would have blue eyes. So if there's 1 dominant trait with the eyes, it's going to mean you're going to have brown eyes. But if you get 2 recessive traits, the lowercase r, you're going to have blue eyes. So if an organism has 2 copies of the same dominant recessive gene, it's then called purebred. If an organism has 1 dominant, 1 recessive trait, it's called a hybrid. Okay, so if you get the RR, capital R, it'd be a purebred. And if you have 1 R, 1 capital R, 1 lowercase r, that'd be called a hybrid. Okay. So this is called a Punnett square. And that's a diagram that illustrates all the possible genetic combinations that occur during sexual production. Let's say the T stands for the dominant gene for tallness, and lowercase t stands for recessive trait for shortness. The Punnett square below shows the possible outcomes. This pattern is called the dominant recessive pattern. So you can see one combination is 2 capital T's. And then 2 combinations are capital T, lowercase t, capital T, lowercase t, and then 1 combination is lowercase, lowercase. So if you look at this, there's 4 possibilities, okay? So chances are that you're going to get tallness because capital T is in one square, capital T is another square, capital T is another square. lowercase t is only in one square. Remember, to be the recessive, you have to have two of the smaller t's. Okay, so chances are that the offspring are probably going to be 75% are going to be tall and 25% are going to be short. And they're going to be short because they have the two smaller t's, lowercase t's. So it says the dominant recessive pattern is not the only way that genes and traits can work in organisms. Say, for instance, both parents have an organism, two recessive traits for a gene. In that case, the gene would be dominant. Let's say two black and white cats mated. A black and white cat would have recessive genes for whiteness and recessive genes for blackness. What color would the kittens be? So looking at the Punnett square on the right, you can see the possible outcomes of the color of kittens. So these are all recessive traits. So you're going to have possibility of 3 black, BBBB, and 1 of white, the WW. Sometimes when the parents of organisms both have 2 recessive copies of a gene, that trait are produced are kind of a blend of both. For example, pink flowers are often produced by sexual reproduction of a white flower and a red flower. Okay. So these questions right here are from that video, and the video is on the Punnett square. So after you watch that, you can go ahead and answer these questions. Okay. So it says scientists, and once you watch that video, this will probably be a little bit easier to do, but we can do it right now. So scientists use diagrams called Punnett squares to predict the possibility of likely that offspring will have certain traits based on the genes of its parents. Look at the Punnett squares. Fill in the squares to determine the possible combination of baby's genes. Always write the capital letters first. For example, capital B, lowercase b, not lowercase b, capital B. The first one is done for you to answer the question. So mom and dad have a dominant gene for dimples and a recessive trait for no dimples. So that would be, it's DD and D lowercase d. So if we go to this one right here, this is going to be D, capital D, lowercase d. This is going to be capital D, and this one's going to be capital D, lowercase d. Okay. So basically, it's going to ask you, so the combinations are going to be DD twice, capital D twice, and then capital D, lowercase d twice. Okay? So it's possible combinations are going to be DD, capital D, or capital D, lowercase d. So there's only 2 possible outcomes here. All right? And probability be written, it'd be, there's 4, so it'd be 1 out of 4. Okay? That's what this is. There's possible, because there's 4 squares. Okay? So this one, both mom and dad have dominant gene for brown hair and recessive trait for blonde hair. So this one would be capital B, capital B, lowercase b, capital B, lowercase b, and this one is lowercase. Okay, so what is the probability that the baby will have blonde hair? So blonde hair would be lowercase b, so that's only 1 out of 4 right there, okay? But both mom and dad have brown hair. So this one's 1 out of 4, and what color hair do mom and dad have? They both have brown hair, okay? And here are just the answers to that. Okay. This one, it talks about why some people are left-handed. I'll let you read that on your own. There's some questions to go with that. And this talks about the DNA of why people are left-handed. More questions about why people are left-handed. And so it's just 4 short readings, and then you're going to answer these questions. Then if you get stuck, all the answers are right down here at the bottom. Okay, so just let's go back and I want to do one more of these here. We'll go over the hair one again. Just so, okay. So both mom and dad have brown hair. So that would be capital B, lowercase b. That's brown, okay? If mom basically had blonde hair, she would be lowercase b. But in this example, they both have brown hair. So they're both, dad could be BB and mom is B, lowercase b. So when you look at this, actually both are capital B, lowercase b. So that's brown hair. So the first one's capital B. That's going to be brown hair. The next one's capital B, lowercase b, and that's going to be brown hair. This one's capital B, lowercase b. And this one over here would be lowercase b, lowercase b. Okay, so you're going to take this B from here and that one. So in the bottom right one, that's going to be BB. So that's really what a Punnett square is. You're just taking the letter from the left and mashing it with the letter on top, and you just do it across until you fill out all the squares, okay? So, and then it's going to ask a little bit of probability, what you're doing in math. In most of these cases, it's going to be out of 4 because there's only 4 boxes. And then you just have to look at, like in this case, BB is blonde hair, lowercase b, lowercase b. So there's only 1 in 4 chance of that happening. That would be 25%. And there's 75% chance the offspring are going to have brown hair. Okay. So I'm going to stop there for today. You guys can go ahead and read about being left-handed. It's basically just the same. It talks about the genes and things like that. So I'm going to send the socialized link here in a little bit. You guys, hopefully I'll see some of you there. If not, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.